What's up, Soul Family? Coming at you with another love reading. If you're looking for advice for whatever you have going on in your love life, then I could have a message from you, from your guides, angels, ancestors, or deities even. You never know where the knowledge could be coming from. So if you want a one-on-one reading, they're $20 for the first one. You can directly message me or do so at the link in the bio. And it's 20 minutes. You can ask whatever questions, or I can pull it and see what comes out, and we can go from there. That being said, let's jump right in and see what's going on in our love life. So then we have September, success. We have woman, dealings or relationship with a woman. So maybe this is for, oh, and marriage. Okay, cool. Really interesting. So then maybe this is for people who are getting married in November. It is just in a couple months. Maybe you're going to meet somebody you'll marry in November. It could be any of those energies. So the Hierophant. So yeah, I think it's the energy of definitely getting married, because the Hierophant's also the card that pops up like when there is marriage. So maybe you are about to get married to somebody in November or find that partner. Maybe they are, let's see. Okay, cool. So maybe this is like after a period of having lots of difficulties, maybe with them, maybe just, going through things, not like directly, you guys against each other, but even you guys going through trials together. Or maybe it's been a really rough journey, because sometimes that is where love is. Sometimes love comes through a little bit of conflict, or both of you guys growing or navigating through certain eras of your life that might not have been as ideal. Okay, so I'd like to think that, and then I take that sound as confirmation. The Three of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands usually points towards like the energy of you guys have had to work things out. This relationship was not easy. It's like it was definitely something, or there had been a lot of, or maybe you guys again had to work through a lot of just very heavy things, and maybe it was almost to the point where this didn't happen. Maybe there's like the straw that broke the camel's back, and maybe there's like literally just one situation, one more event or something that could have maybe turn the connection off, or you guys maybe wouldn't have gotten to this point. Or maybe you guys are still, even as, we are trying to work towards marriage, maybe it's in a very fragile state where we are about to experience something that's about to break the back, and we're trying to resolve these issues, because the Three of Pentacles points towards both parties trying to fix whatever scenario is going on. So maybe it's a really difficult situation which you guys are working towards a resolution, but it's just been very difficult for one reason or the other. And maybe the time is ticking, and that's what's creating the extra pressure, because now there's like this perceived energy of trying to navigate the time constraints that you're in. So with the Page of Pentacles, this would make me feel like there's the need to, if we're trying to resolve it, maybe the way to resolve this is the mutual need to figure out how both parties are seen and how both parties feel nurtured. Everybody has different things and different needs that they have in the physical realm, that they need to feel connected, that they need to feel grounded, that they need to feel safe and secure. So maybe it's a matter of both parties needing to just learn a little bit more how to work around that, and learning how to provide that security, provide that stability, and provide that tangible aspect of the connection that allows people to understand that there is a, because there is a non-physical component. Obviously, you love people very much, but there is also the way that I think that love is best expressed, especially healthily, when we are able to feel safe and secure, and when we're actually grounded in our experience, and we're not just kind of like in the ethers and just, I love this part. Like, granted, love is great, but there is still a certain aspect of this physical realm and the benefits that love has to offer. So maybe there is a certain level of learning how to nurture each individual, or nurture each other, because sometimes we don't necessarily know the specific ways that our partner might need to be taken care of that might help them feel seen. Sometimes we might know ways in general, or more general ways or generic ways, but we might not know like what they specifically need. So I think the Page of Pentacles is like taking time to learn how to and what those things are. And then with the card that just fell, and the Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups could be one of two things. Maybe it's the energy of somebody who is still learning how to, maybe it's, again, with the Page of Pentacles, both of you guys are learning how to connect to each other's emotions healthier, or trying to figure out like what their emotional and physical needs are. Or maybe it's like the energy of maybe one or both parties are just a little bit emotionally immature. to a point in which, or if not immature, maybe there's the energy of learning how to connect to their emotions healthy in a healthier way. So maybe there's the energy of trying to connect to this person, but then they themselves are not able to connect to like they don't know how to process their emotions. They themselves don't know how to deal with things. Some people can love somebody, but they don't necessarily know how to be healthy in the way that they express that. So maybe this is a lot of learning, both maybe individually, internally, like how to connect to in relation to your own emotions, or maybe it's the energy of then, of course, having to learn how to connect to each other with the emotions that are there. And then sometimes, whenever the Hierophant pops out, I think the Hierophant pops out a lot of times too, when there are people who might have like sometimes traditional mentalities. And I think sometimes traditional mentalities are, while I think there are definitely benefits and there are strengths to them, sometimes they can become archaic, rigid, and they can kind of be very damaging. Like certain old school mentalities, like men shouldn't have emotions, or you got to be this and that to be a man, diminish the very human aspect of what men are. And I've seen women who literally, and men alike, who either, because of the preconceived notions of how men should experience emotions, have been turned off by a man simply expressing themselves, by crying, by even showing affection towards their partner. I've seen posts where women are like, "Oh, that man's way too affectionate for me," and things like that. Those are aspects of us not being able to connect to our emotions in a healthy way. Us not understanding like our own needs. Us not understanding ourselves even, and why we would even feel that somebody showing us love and appreciation would be something that is not a good thing. So sometimes there is so much of us having to break down certain constructs and beliefs that we might have been taught or experienced, that we might need to shift in order to experience reality in a healthier way. Men shouldn't show emotions, or men shouldn't do this, women should be this, women should be that. There's so many little things where there are constructs and things that we are taught by society that should be how people function, when in reality, like there are some really bad beliefs that are just getting passed down. And it's like really the blind leading the blind when it comes to certain belief systems that are instilled. So maybe a lot of the conflict that this connection might be experiencing is around the energy of the old paradigms that society are trying to push on us, and us needing to break away from them and start to maybe understand where there might be certain values that we can take and can draw inspiration from, but not necessarily needing to follow in a very rigid or dogmatic way, to the point in which now people are, it's causing conflict and tension. You have to worry about like what works for you individually, not what people tell you should work. Because somebody tells you something should work and it's not working, then clearly what they're telling you isn't too accurate. But let's see what's on the bottom of the deck and we'll close it out. So, Ace of Swords. So maybe this reading was something that gave you guys the clarity that you needed. Maybe there is clarity about to head to your experience. Maybe there's some kind of insight or some kind of knowledge that's going to be able to create the clarity needed to create a healthier connection, so that way you're not feeling frustrated or like you're struggling, or as if this is some kind of fight or burden about to collapse a connection. Maybe there's something that's going to be revealed that will then help this marriage or something like that come along. But that being said, peace and blessings, and I'll catch you guys in the next reading.